Yeah. Go ahead.
A strange situation exists in society today. We have more readily available information about sex and marriage than ever before. Yet we have more marital problems and divorces. Obviously, something is wrong. It is not sufficient to say that God is needed in these homes, because even many Christian marriages are falling apart.
Isn't that something?
Yes, that's something.
Why don't you just read on down? We'll go back over that.
All right. The fact that a man and a woman are both saved is no guarantee that their marriage will succeed. Marriage is something that we have to work at. Success is not automatic. And when one marriage partner is not a Christian, that can make matters even more difficult. Peter addressed this section of his letter to the Christian wives who had unsaved husbands, telling them how to win their mates to Christ. Then he added some important admonitions for Christian husbands. No matter what your marital status may be, you can learn from Peter the essentials for a happy and successful marriage.
All right, let's go back up here and talk about this now. You said we have more readily available information about sex and marriage than ever before. Yet we have more marital problems and divorces. Obviously, something is wrong. Now, wouldn't you think that I always hear that once you get married and you both of you saved, you shouldn't have no problem. Is that so?
No.
Is that so?
That's not true.
What's wrong with it?
Because a lot of times what happens is that people forget, yes, they are saved, but a lot of things comes into play with that, especially if you get somebody, for example, that has no understanding of how to deal with their mate, or never been involved with a mate, or never, like sometimes when you're growing up, your father would say, listen, this is what you need to do with a woman, you treat them like this, you don't hit them, you treat them like you treat your mother, and different things. And a lot of times that when people come together, it's like it's a change. I don't know. Once something happens, once you sign that marriage certificate, it's like a switch went off, and now Mr. Jekyll and Mrs. Jekyll, was good. Then now Mr. and Mrs. Hyde comes up, and nobody wants to take time, and that's the problem. That nobody wants to take time with one another, because you got to learn one another, and nobody wants to take turns. And like for me, when I read Ephesians 5:25, and I used to read it all the time, but when I read it, and because I was going through some stuff. And I read it, and it said that husband to love your wife as Christ loved the church. And when I read that, I mean, it hit me like a brick. God loved the world so much that He gave His life for the church. We are supposed to, no matter what your mate does, you're supposed to love.
But what do you think caused, the problem? Now here, you're both of you in the church, right? Both of you are saved. Now, and you're getting married.
Right.
What's the problem here? What you think?
Because a lot of times what happens is that read among the declare to one. But a lot of times what happens is that you have other outside speakers influence, that steps in, that causes a lot of problems, and sometimes it's very destructive,
I believe, once you get married, sometimes, one of us will start to forget why we got married. First of all, you forget why you got married. You got married because you loved each other, right?
I'm not, what's that?
You got married because you loved each other, right? So, once you get married, sometimes they figure that it's a control. It's like, now you're my wife, so anything I say that you should do. But it shouldn't be that way. You're supposed to still be able to talk about everything before you even do something. So that's where conflict comes. It comes from either her or it comes from him. Somebody's going to be divorced.
The other one you're saying, the husband is becoming dominated.
Right.
And this caused a little problem in the marriage.
Right.
When the husband becomes, well, the wife too can be the same way.
It can be the wife. That's why I said it be either way. Either way.
But now, that's, you saying not to say that's the problem?
Sometimes, over a period of time, we can take each other for granted. And with that, the lack of respect and honor for one another is lost in the equation. And the order of how the house is supposed to be. Just like Christ loved the church, we're supposed to love our wives. He's our covering. And the man is supposed to be the covering of the house, not the woman. And sometimes we lose the order of how things are supposed to be in the household. And when that order is unbalanced, and when you're trying to, it's not that a man will be dominated, but he's trying to structure order on how the word is structured. And we'll lose that and go with our own emotions, and we don't be on, marriages won't be on one accord. So, but if we reflect on what the word is teaching us, and we're reminded to be in that order, we have to submit to one another. Words say we have to submit to one another. There's no overbearing on one another, but there's still a structure of order. The man is the head of the household. And plus, he just can't say he's the head of the household. He has to be the man of the household. But at the same time, sometimes we at an age now that women are independent. So even with their independence, there should still be a structure on how a man's supposed to be the head of the house. And the woman is to help me. Now sometimes it's vice versa. The woman will help, vice versa. We help each other. But there still has to be an order. When that order is unbalanced, then you don't have structure no more.
I don't know, what do you say?
What I have learned, I've learned this the hard way. God was the one who instituted marriage.
Huh?
God was the one who instituted marriage. And like I said, I learned it the hard way. Whenever even a relationship, family, whatever the case may be, as long as we keep God center, we keep God helm, God will continue to keep us within the ramifications of the ordinance that he has established as it relates to the marriage. One of the things that I learned, he said, husband, love your wife as Christ loved the church. Nowhere I read, wife, love your husband. We don't read that, because God said if the husband do what he said the husband should do, automatically the woman's going to love the husband, because intricately God designed her for that purpose. And yes, we as men, we play a intricate, like he told Adam in the garden, don't eat the fruit. He never told Eve not to eat it, and she ate it first. But the sin did not come in until Adam ate. And one of the greatest things also about a relationship, there has to be communication. When the communication stops, everything falls. That's why God used to visit Adam in the cool of the day to communicate with him, to fellowship with him. We fail to, I would like to get into some other stuff, but no. But I want to know your likes, and I want to know your dislikes. I want to know what your ideas, and no matter if I disagree, I have to respect them anyway, because this is a part of this person's makeup. It's a part of this person's persona. It's a part of this person's personality. So as long as we communicate and we keep God first, that's going to help a whole lot.
All right, I want to look at this second paragraph says, in fact, a man and a woman are both saved. There's no guarantee that the marriage will succeed. Now, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Something is wrong there.
Something is wrong.
Because you have to continually work at it. This is a life process with your salvation and as well as your marriage. So just because you're married, every day is not going to be rainbows and rainbows.
Forget about the marriage. Look at the saved part. Now look at the saved part of both of you.
Yeah.
That you're not looking at one. Say if it's one-sided, you got a problem. But if both of you are saved, and you said both of you are saved, and then you should not. This thing shouldn't be. Because number one, now I'm gonna leave that alone for a little while. Number one, I'm gonna leave that alone for a little while. But I want to hear what you say, Elder.
Well, because both of them are saved, there should be a submission to one another.
Yes.
There's no dominant, although the man is the head of the house, but sometimes they can be forceful in their attitude towards you. I'm the husband, and you do what I say do when I say do it. But they're saved.
Yeah,
But
that's not a saved
that's
attitude.
not a saved. No, that's
No,
not.
you do what I say. That's controlling. That's not a
Yeah,
saved attitude.
that's dominating. But
Let her finish out there.
there should be a giving, a respect there that comes from God first, and imparted to the married couple that's saved. And each one of them should be giving and submitting to one another. And they have to grow together. They never, they have to grow up together as being saved. They were once, dating or whatever, but now, once you get married, it's not I, but it's us or we.
But you still, whether you're dating or married, you're two saved people.
You're still saved.
Smallwood, what you said?
That's why they give them a chance to get to know one another. That's why they're coming supposed to be in and out of each other's homes, talking to the wives, their families and stuff. You shouldn't just jump into it, because when you just jump into it on that love, that thing will break down because you didn't learn one another. You didn't learn how to act towards one another. What you like, that's good. But what about the other things? What happens when you get sick or one of your parents get sick? What do we do then? They get things that kind of deep. We don't stay up in the mountain. It gets kind of deep.
Evangelist Judge?
Yeah, I
You
got
don't know
it.
nothing about that. Now, you're dealing with saved people. Now, saved people shouldn't run into this problem. Now, the message says there's no guarantee that their marriage will be successful. But God has said for us to get together. Say, once you come together as saved people, you'll stay together if you're saved. Because you heed the word of God. See, number one, when you're saved, you start praying together. You see what I mean? And when this man, if he get out of step, he can't get on his knees and pray and stay out of step. And you praying. You understand? We build one another up. We praying. God remember us. We praying because, see, number one, you love one another. See, it got to be love there. It can't be lust.
No.
If it's lust, it's not going to last. But if it's love, you're going to do everything to please your husband, and your husband going to do everything to please you. And he's not going to say anything out of the way that's going to hurt you, or you going to say anything out of the way to hurt him. Because, number one, you know the Lord. And you see, you have a relationship with God. Now, you can't pray to God and get an answer from God and gonna treat this man wrong or treat this woman wrong. You can't do it. But you got to be submissive to God, to one another, and to God. Because if you love one another, you're going to treat one another right. You're going to act with one another right. All right? They always say, oh, tongue and teeth fall out, but that's just old saying so. But it don't have to. No, if you're in the Lord, and you love the Lord enough, and you're going to please God, you're going to do everything you can. If you say a word that you think going to hurt you, you say, honey, I'm sorry if I said something wrong to you. And he's going to make it all right. You understand? And you're going to make this thing up right away. See, outside not going to influence you. I don't care how mom and daddy was. If you love this person, that's what's going to make the difference. But if you don't love one another, you could be easily influenced with somebody else. Oh, I wouldn't put up with that. You take you say what 1950 when women start going out working, they used to get up and fix their husband breakfast in the morning. And when they got a job, boom, cook your own meal.
Yeah. 2019.
So that was, I mean, all right. You've been doing it all the time, but all of a sudden now, you went on the job and she said, no, I don't cook for my husband. He get up and cook himself. Hey, you don't cook for your husband? No. So you go back home and you try the same thing. And it shouldn't be. You're a saved woman. You're a saved man. Those things should never happen. When we are saved, we are to please God. We are to do the thing right before God. We are to please one another.
So what about the husband that says, you do what I tell you to do?
No. I said save husband.
I know,
and wife.
but some of them do that. They have that kind of attitude. What did I say? And then the woman just be quiet. She don't say anything.
Well, he ain't saved then.
No,
he ain't saved. Because if he was saved, he wouldn't carry on like that. No saved man carry on like that.
When I say goals and all that kind of stuff.
No.
Go both ways.
Go both ways.
Because see, you were one individual, and then when you get married, you become one.
That's what the Bible said. Yeah. We become one.
And you're not supposed to overtake her personality and she overtake yours. But together, you all serve God as one. God not looking at you as two separate individuals. He's looking at you as one.
How can you raise a family if you are divided, you and the husband?
The house can't.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You tell the children one thing, the husband tell them something else.
The Bible says, how can two walk together except they agree?
Except they agree.
Me personally, I agree very, very much when communication plays a major part.
Sure it does.
Like when the communication system breaks down, then, that's when, other people's voices come in, other people's feelings come in, other people's agenda come in. But if you and this person in the beginning can establish a communication system between you and her and keep God first, because at the end of the day, God is the one who instituted family and relationships. So, we seek God. If these two people can seek God, it's good to hear what other people have to say, but at the end of God, what do you got to say?
Yeah, but you can't also seek counsel from the ungodly either.
Say that again, brother?
You can't, sometimes
you say
you can't seek counsel with the ungodly.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have ungodly influences that come in.
Ungodly mess you up.
And it'll mess you up.
Yeah.
That's why I say you have to be, if you're going to get counsel, get somebody that's saved.
Sometimes saved people can mess you up. Because the saved people don't know either one of y'all. the way God knows you.
That's right.
That's why you and that person have to develop a communication where, because if I'm married to somebody and she gets sick, I'm not relying on the bishop to go and see her for me.
No, that's different.
I'm not relying on her to
That's
communicate.
totally different.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Please. Listen to what I'm saying. Please. Please listen to what I'm saying. The communication established where I'm going to go and see her. The communication is going to establish where I'm going to stand with her and for her, regardless of her family or anybody else. Without the communication, you be like, she'll be all right. But as long as me and her have an understanding, we'll survive. We will
It
survive.
still go back to the Bible.
Exactly.
And you
God-
got to keep God first in everything. And
Because
if you
sometimes family members, they put their feelings involved.
Yes, because that's my sister, that's
Exactly.
my brother.
Exactly.
So they're going to come in and they're going to take a side. Because that's my brother, that's my sister.
But if they're saved, they're not supposed to take no side.
They're not supposed to,
Side of God.
but they do it.
But they do.
But they do it. I read in an article that a lot of relationships fall apart in church because church people get involved with the personal relationship and they begin to say things that they would do in their marriage. And the crazy thing is, the person who's giving people who's going through their marriage advice, they're not even married. Or their marriage is no longer existing. So this is why I thank God that God instituted it. And yes, it's good to get advice, but at the end of the day, God, what do you say? God might say fast. God might say pray.
It still stands the same thing. When you're saved and you before God, and if you got a problem, you go to God with that problem, you and your wife. Maybe you got to fast about something. Maybe she don't know you're fasting for that, but you fast for that because you want things to work out, because you want to please God. You see, it's all in pleasing God. Whatever we do, it's not who got this or who got that. While you're in the home and you gotta be. If you see something that you have to do, you go ahead and do it. Well, that's your job. That ain't my. No. If you can fix it, fix it.
That's right.
You don't walk over something and, well, my wife didn't sweep the floor, so I ain't gonna bother either. Don't make sense. Both of you saved. And you do things that are pleasing with one another. And you know, if you've been courting the person for 6 months, you ought to then pick up on something about them. You ought to know what you like and what you don't like.
There's a lot of sacrifices to be made, and there's a lot of compromising at times. You know, when you get to know somebody, you know, especially of you, you know, another, you know,
Each time as you pray, just like you go to God, you do things that you want to please God with. And you do the same thing with a wife. You go out, you see a bunch of flowers. If she likes flowers, you pick up a bunch of flowers. You give it to her. She like candy, take it candy. Do things that she likes. And then she do things you like. That's what keeps a marriage together. That's what you love the Lord and you're praying, and both of you praying to God. That's what keeps the marriage together. Man can't keep you together. Let's take the word of God. Now don't tell me, oh, I'm going to leave this man, I'm going over here, but I'm going to heaven and you ain't going nowhere. Or something is wrong if both of them can't get together.
Well, Bishop, I've heard some husbands say, the couple say, and I heard the husbands or the wife speak to the opposite one in a strong way. Well, what did I say? What did I tell you to do? And in front of other people too.
Well, they've been doing that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's really not saved. I don't have any respect for one another.
Or she can't make a decision which you should make a decision together and pray about it when you can't come to agreement together. But sometimes one is dominant. I've seen some dominant women over their husband. They're supposed to be saved, and vice versa. So if you have something to say to your husband, and your husband doesn't agree on it, then you should, depending upon what it is, then you should both pray and until God give you the right time and the right spirit in which to. It's not, to answer it. It's not always. It's not one-sided. But I've seen some strong-willed men and women too that are dominant.
Some of them don't even need to be together.
They don't.
I had
They
my,
really don't.
my
And I'm sorry, Bishop. And the woman feels some kind of way because she can't get her point across. She can't be who she is because of that husband, or vice versa.
Now my mother went in the hospital to see my brother, and his wife didn't even want her to go to see him. She had to tell him, that's my son. I don't know how some people can get so foolish.
They become
It's like you married and your wife said, well, I'm gonna do this for my mother. Now you ain't doing that for your mother. No. Never stop my wife. If she wanted whatever you want to do for your mother, you have to do it.
See, because
that's your mother.
They have control over you now, but I guarantee you they'll go see theirs.
Because anytime I wanted to do stuff for my mother, I did it. Because if you love one another, you don't have to leave people around doing that thing.
It's like when you communicate with, like I've heard somebody say, what's in you, it'll eventually come out. So if you communicating constantly, even before you get married, like, doing a courting party, you communicate. You can find out if a person got a nasty attitude, and once you start to see that there's a pattern in this person's behavior, you have the right to make a decision whether you want to stay or you want to go.
That's right.
Like you can ask certain questions. If the questions is not acceptable to you, you have the right to stay or go. If you know that somebody has an aggressive or an adamant or belligerent attitude towards you, and you decide to stay, that's your fault. If this person is acting crazy, leave. Don't be bothered with that person, because if you get married to this person, that means you're telling that person, I'm willing to accept your abusive behavior towards me.
Right.
But if you leave, they ain't gotta accept it. Me personally, if you acting crazy towards me, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. That's just me. I done been through another relationship. That's just me.
And sometimes it don't show until after you get married.
It's hard.
Something is wrong if you can coach somebody 6 months
or a year,
and you can't see that little. It gotta show some kind of.
Those idiosyncrasies, they come out.
You sign that dotted paper, you become legally theirs.
Legally theirs.
That's why the courting process.
That's why. Why would God want us to marry safe people if He didn't mean for us to get along? You go out there and marry you. He didn't want Israel to marry outside people. No. Kill out everything. Because if you don't, they'll end up marrying your daughter or marrying your son, and it's going to cause a division in the family. And it's the same thing today. If we don't kill our things in our life today, they're going to mess up later on. So you fix it now, and then you won't have to worry about it later on. God put us together as saved people. Why would you be saved and then you go out here and marry an unsaved man? He come in drunk every day, and I'm gonna get him saved. And every day you come in, he come in drunk. From one thing to another.
That's why you gotta know if God put you together. The Bible says whom God put together.
Right.
That no man put asunder. The enemy know that, when you endeavoring to get married, there's gonna be attacks. But if you know God put you together, you can fight through that. You can pray through that. You can fast through that. Regardless of what.
Well, it seems as if saved people don't know that, because the Bible didn't teach about divorces and all like that. He said the hardness of the heart of people while that happens. When my kids were wanting to get married, I wanted to make sure that they would marry saved people. Now, if you get saved and you're in the church, you can backslide in the church now and go acting a fool, just like you never was saved before. And that is worse when it's like that. So when God gives you somebody, or allow you to meet somebody, and they get saved, and you're saved, that's the best life you can have. There's no better life than to have a life that you have a saved mate and a saved husband. Because there is agreement, there's understanding. You got to come home and fight or every time, argue all the time. Fight. No. Something wrong with that. God never meant for saved people to be divorced and fighting and carrying on. Saved I'm saved, filled with the Holy Ghost. The husband over here and you over here. Something wrong with that. All right. The example of Christ. 1 Peter 3.
The phrases in the same marina and in like manner refers us back to Peter's discussion of the example of Jesus Christ. 1 Peter 2:21-25. Just as Jesus was submissive and obedient to God's will, so a Christian husband and wife should follow his example.
That's right. See, that's what God wants. How can we be an example to anyone or to influence anybody if we upside down with one another? You can't do it. Read.
Much of our learning in life comes by way of imitation. Grandparents have a delightful time watching their grandchildren pick up new skills and words as they grow up. If we imitate the best model, we will become better people and better achievers. But if we imitate the wrong model, it will cripple our lives and possibly ruin our characters. The role models that we follow influence us in every area of life. Read.
Right.
While standing in the checkout line in the supermarket, I overheard two women discussing the latest Hollywood scandal that was featured on the front page of a newspaper displayed on the counter. As I listened, and I could not help but hear them, I thought, how foolish to worry about the sinful lives of matinee idols. Why cluster up your mind with such trash? Why not get acquainted with decent people and learn from their lives? A few days later, I overheard a conversation about the marital problems on a certain television soap serial, and the same thoughts came to me.
You know, the television ruined a lot of people too. And this, I don't know whether this man watches it or not, but he's right. Women spend more time on these soap operas than anything else. Hear unsaved people doing all kinds of things. And you're supposed to be saved, and you listen to, and then you get mad. You get mad with this actor. You see how he acting with us? I went over to my aunt's house one time. She was so mad. Kill it! Oh my goodness. That stuff will mess your mind up. All this filth on television, running with that man's wife and this man's husband, and all that. You're saved. You have left the world. Why get caught up on all that stuff? And then don't know anything about your Bible, but know everything, every soap opera come on there. You can't imitate what those soap operas do. They get paid for that. And you ruin your marriage because you watching that. Your husband come home 5 minutes late, and you want to know what happened. You usually come to your 5 o'clock, and here it's almost 10 minutes after 5. And he got this, well, honey, the train was late. Nah, the train was late. They ain't gonna believe that. Because her mind is messed up.
Not only on soap operas, but they got the reality shows. Yeah.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, they worse.
That's bad.
They worse.
Yeah. They say there are certain things saved people got no business watching. How can you renew your mind? It's that you're supposed to be getting rid of all that stuff. And you still take it in. And then you wonder why the devil is chasing you and you can't get a prayer through here. Every time you walk over here, something is happening over here. It's because you're not yielding yourself to the Lord and allowing God to work in your life. With your mind all messed up like that, God is not going to answer no prayer for you. The Bible said when you know to do right and do it not, it's a sin. And don't tell me a saved woman see that she's doing wrong towards her husband, or the husband doing wrong towards his wife, and then still think that he's going to get an answer from God. They're wrong. And I don't care who patting them on the back, and I don't care who putting oil on their head. And it ain't going to help them one bit until they get it right with God. No, they ain't going to get it right. I mean, here you can't, no, man. In the church, you're supposed to, you're supposed to be done got away from sin. And you still dabbling and dipping and carrying on. No. What the Bible says, let your light so shine that men will see your good ways. Who want to get saved if they see you carrying on and acting up and on? Nobody. It's a sad day we're living in when we got saved people and the divorce rate in the church has skyrocketed. Now something is wrong. And it's not nothing wrong with God. It's wrong with the people. 60 years ago, you didn't hear all of that. It was almost a disgrace. But today, it's the way of life almost. I don't have to put up with this. Oh, my goodness. Sad that we live in. Sad. So that's the reason why, saints, we have to pray and stay before God. Listen, these things will hinder us from getting our prayer through. It would hinder us from going to heaven. Don't think that we can do anything we want to do and go to heaven. Because the Bible says, that certain things are not going to heaven. No rancor, spot, or any such thing is going to enter into heaven. So we might as well get it right. But you got to make up your own mind, though. You got to say to yourself, this thing ain't going to happen to me. It's not going to happen. All right, so.
When Christian couples try to imitate the world and get their standards from Hollywood instead of from heaven, there will be trouble in the home. But if partners will imitate Jesus Christ and his submission and obedience and his desire to serve others, then there will be triumph and joy in the home. A psychiatrist friend of mine states that the best thing a Christian husband can do is pattern himself after Jesus Christ. In Christ, we see a beautiful blending of strength and tenderness, and that is what it takes to be a successful husband.
I want to say something on that.
Strength and tenderness. Two beautiful characteristics.
We're in this together. Christian husband and wife should be submissive to God and then to one another. Because when you love the Lord enough, you're going to please him and you're going to please that husband. And you're going to do what's right. You ain't going to let your mind run away with you. See, that's the devil's playground, your mind. If you allow him to mess with your mind, you will never go through with God. Because he can always tell you, well, she don't love you, she don't like this, and she don't like that, and this and that, and have you all excited and upset, and you don't know what to do. When you get on your knees to pray, you can't pray. Because the devil got you all upset. And he got your mind. But he said, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus. And we have to have the mind of Christ. And if we have the mind of Christ, we'll learn how to do things the way Christ wants us to do. Do you think it's right for a preacher to beat his wife?
No, of course not. But you got some that...
Huh?
Of course not. He's not saying, how can he be saying he's beating his wife?
Well, they do it.
I know they do it. They do a lot of things.
Bishops too.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad when a wife sits in the church and her husband's up there preaching and she's going to sleep on him. or she just turn away herself from him, don't want to hear nothing he said. That's sad.
Something's wrong there.
Look at Bishop Week and Juanita Vine. Outside the parking lot.
Yeah. Sad case.
Yeah. All of the people follow them.
I've known pastors to be like that. The wife don't want to hear nothing they say because of the life that they live in the home.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
It is.
And I said to him one day, I said, why don't you go to the doctor and let the doctor, oh no, I can't go to no doctor. And my people see me go to the doctor and they think something wrong. I said, now this man here, I didn't say to him, I said to myself, there's the devil here that is the way he is and the way he's acting, and yet still, he don't want to go to the doctor, but he don't want to live right. Doing all kind of things. But yet still, he thinks he's right. This was right here. God is right. We have made this thing a mockery. Pastors going with their daughters. I'm not talking about something I don't know. I'm telling you things I know. Pastors going with their daughters. Having children by their daughters. Daughters did after